What's up, everybody? My name's Garrick Rumley. This is my very first video. Welcome to the Gift of Honesty. And I wanted to start off by talking about forgiveness because, here's honest, I've been an angry person for a long time and I didn't even realize it. It was just like my baseline. I was always like 2 seconds from being like, stop doing that. Like I'd yell at my kids too much, and I'm probably not the only one. And so I wanted to talk about the gift of forgiveness and what it has done for me. Honestly, just in the past 2 weeks, I had a pretty wild thing happen to me, and I can talk about this later on. But over Easter weekend 2025, I just realized I needed to let a lot of things go and live like Christ did and do the things that Christ taught us when he came here to earth. And one of them is to forgive people. And you don't put limits on that. You don't say, oh, I'm not going to forgive you because you did this to me, right? You just forgive. It doesn't mean you always have to let them keep hurting you if you know they're going to, but just forgive them. And this is directly addressed in Matthew chapter 18, verses 21 through 22. And it says, Then Peter came up and said to him, Lord, how often shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? As many as 7 times? And Jesus said to him, I do not say to you 7 times, but 70 times 7. Okay, so this is like one of those things where like, why 70 times 7? So in biblical numerology, 7 represents completeness or perfection. So think about Genesis, the creation story. God created the world in 7 days. He saw that it was good, it was perfect, it was complete, and he did it in 7 days. And so this comes up multiple times in the Bible. I don't know all the different ones. I'm kind of new coming back to my faith, so this is me kind of like exploring things. But I do now know that 7 represents completeness and perfection. And 70 amplifies ideas. So it suggests a greater fullness of whatever thing that you're talking about. So in Jewish tradition, forgiving someone 3 times was considered generous. And so even Peter's question far exceeded the kind of general norms of the time. Because Jews were told, hey, forgive someone not once, not twice, but 3 times. Like, give people multiple chances, which makes sense, right? And I feel like that's what a lot of people do today, right? Like, I'll give you a couple times, but if you keep kind of screwing me over, like, that's the end of that. And so Peter says, hey, okay, should we do it 7 times? And Jesus says 7 times 70, which means unlimited. Never stop forgiving people. And this doesn't mean that you have to keep letting them hurt you. That's not what he's saying. What he is saying is that when someone does hurt you, forgive them. And there is no limit on this. And he is the perfect example. Jesus is the perfect example. God is the perfect example. Jesus came to show us the way, not only the way to God, but the way and how we should act in our life. And I'm 33 years old. I'm a husband. I'm a father of 2. And I've been so angry. And there are so many times in my life where I just like swore at God. I was like, you're not real. My dad died when I was 11. My brother died 3 years ago. And I've been angry at God. And long story short, about 2 years ago, I started kind of feeling like, oh, maybe there's something into this faith. And there's like reasons I can go into like in future videos. But my point is that God did not harbor ill will towards me when I came back at all. I ended up going to confession. And it took a while for me to feel close to him, because just like any relationship, if you basically you know, if you act really poorly towards someone for a really long time, not only does it hurt them, but it also hurts yourself, right? You have to build that relationship. It takes time. It's not like, oh, you can just have one conversation and you're good to go. So over the period of like the last 2 years, I've been kind of like building my faith, and it really kind of took a turn over Easter weekend. And it's just astounding, and it's so cool that no matter when you come back, what you've done in your life, God will forgive you 100%. And that's like such a love story. It's so incredible, especially in today's society where like there's a lot of pride, there's a lot of like, you're wrong, you did this to me. And Jesus, when he came, he's like, no more. Stop that. Stop that. That's not the way that God works. That's not the way that I work. That's not his teaching. That's not my teaching. And it's honestly, ever since Easter weekend, I've just been way more at peace. And I still have that. But for the first time in my life, like anger and kind of that tension it creates was like my baseline. I can even feel it right now, like talking about it. It like, I don't know if you've ever been like, I mean, everybody's been angry, but if you've ever kind of had like a baseline anger, like you're kind of like tense all the time, it kind of like builds in your chest, you know? And like breathing out, like kind of like releases that. But yeah, after Easter weekend, it just kind of, I just realized that it was like on me to forgive people, let it go, and move on. And it brings so much joy to your life when you do that. And who are we? Who are we to not forgive when God forgives all of us as long as we come back? It doesn't matter what you've done. You could be a murderer, you could be a rapist, you could be like the worst of the worst. And you hear stories of people going to jail for like the worst crimes and finding God, you know, and people are like, oh, you know, I can see how people who are not religious are like, oh, you know, like God couldn't. He can forgive, and he will forgive anybody. And I want to just end with a quote from the Catechism of the Catholic Church. It's CCC, it's 2227. So the Catechism, the paragraphs are numbered so that you can easily reference it. So it's basically paragraph 2227 in the Catechism. And it says, each and every one should be generous and tireless in forgiving one another for offenses, quarrels, injustices, and neglect. Mutual affection suggests this. The charity of Christ demands it. Like literally goosebumps, right? Who are we to deny forgiveness when God will forgive us for anything? Like, just forgive, let it go, and you will be happier for it. I promise you. So, until next time, I gotta figure out a tagline. But for right now, God bless. And if you're not close to God yet, just ask Him every once in a while. Be like, can you show me your hand? Can you give me a sign? That's all you need to do. Just start like small little conversations. He wants a relationship with you. And no matter what you've done in your life, he will forgive you and he will get close to you. So, peace.